is right. Hagler is still rankled at the cancellation 2 years ago by Hearns. They train differently. An old-time fighter, Hagler. He trains at Provincetown on Cape Cod. Then he went to Palm Springs and closed his workouts to the public. Hearns came into Miami Beach and then moved right in here to Caesar's Palace and had open sessions. In fact, he led Arabic dancing in the ring with 6 beauties there. It sort of reminds you of Muhammad Ali in his training days. But they're all set now. They want to get to it, and we're going to get right down to ringside to Al Michaels and Al Bernstein.
All right, Kurt. Well, everybody's been talking about it. Hearns has certain hand speed and the jab and power and all of that, and Hagler is more resolute. And there are a million different factors involved here. That's why there's been so much talk about who will win. For each man to win, what has to happen? What's the key for each man?
I think for Thomas Hearns, he wants to establish his jab. It's very important, and be able to drop the right hand in. He thinks that he can do that against Hagler, and he thinks that he can keep Hagler on the outside by doing that. For Marvin Hagler, the key is to get by that jab, not just get by it, but get inside and then work to the body of that man, Thomas Hearns, and then eventually get to the head. I think the wild card is, will Marvin Hagler switch to righty effectively? If he does that, it might be the key to a victory for him.
As is customary, it is the challenger who enters first. It is Hagler's title. Even though Tommy has won 2 titles, he does not own the middleweight crown that he seeks tonight, and thus he is the first to come in. And the long wait is over, as accompanied by the entourage. He is out of the dressing room and about ready to enter the arena. He's been lighthearted, basically. Kurt talking about the aerobic dancing and bringing folks into the ring and the open sparring sessions and open workouts. Quite serious right now, though, is Thomas Hearns.
And appropriately entering the ring to hail to the victors, the Michigan fight song.
Still not in view of most here in the arena yet is Hearns, so no response as yet, but very shortly he will be approaching that part of the arena here at Caesar's Palace just about now, where they're beginning to take notice of the entry of Thomas Hearns as he comes down the aisle.
The second time Thomas Hearns has had this kind of situation. The last time, of course, against Sugar Ray Leonard. He hopes this turns out differently.
Now he's spotted. Up the steps he comes, and into the ring he comes. Thomas Hearns. The only loss, of course, to Sugar Ray Leonard back in 1981, a fight in which he was ahead.
He had shown his boxing skills in that fight against Leonard, and many think they may come into play tonight. If Hagler would hurt him early, as Leonard did, that man, Thomas Hearns, has the speed to get on his bicycle and duplicate what he did against Leonard, at least for a certain portion of those fights. He'd like a first-round knockout here. He says he'll do it in 3. We'll see.
Took Durant out in 2.
After the fight, we will have it entered.
Thomas Hearns in the ring and awaiting Marvin Hagler, who loves to, among other things, make people wait.
He is renowned. As you see, the very able corner of Thomas Hearns. And you know, when he fought Sugar Ray Leonard, Al, there was criticism of Emmanuel Stewart. Normally a very calm corner for Thomas Hearns. On that night, the most pressure-packed of his career, there was some chaos in that corner. Emmanuel says, we learned from our mistakes with Leonard, and we feel we've got it all together now.
I'm curious as to the response when Hagler comes in. I thought it was sort of muted in a way. There was some cheering for Hearns, but nothing outrageous by any stretch of the imagination. Could just be a muted crowd right now. We're going to find out.
It's possible, or in fact, Hagler is the favorite of the crowd. Yeah. Which would be odd, considering that, as you said, the betting money is switched back and forth. And if you talk, as I said, if you talk to any 10 people, you're going to find 5 for Hearns, 5 for Hagler. So it's been a very divided group of people here in Las Vegas, and I suspect around the country as well. Here he comes.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler, out of Newark originally, now Brockton, Massachusetts, coming in to a mixed response. One theory is, for those who think Hagler will win, they say maybe this fight means a little bit more to Hagler than it does to Hearns. It means a lot, obviously, to both, but that theory goes that Marvin feels he'll never get the respect he's due unless he beats Thomas Hearns.
And he is, of course, chasing the record of Carlos Monzon, looking for the 14 consecutive title defenses. He has 10 now. He's shooting for number 11. And indeed, the response to Marvin Hagler seems to be a little bit more than Thomas Hearns.
It is. It is. A bigger hand for Hagler coming in, for what that's worth, than for the headman.
When he came in against Roberto Duran in his last big fight, it was just the opposite. So perhaps Marvin Hagler finally getting his due from boxing fans who on occasion have been indifferent to him.
Bob Arum, the promoter, called him the Pete Rose of boxing. Hard-working, resolute, single-minded, 62-2. The two losses early in his career, both in Philadelphia, both avenged, 50 knockouts.
And it's been a long time since he knew what the word defeat was. Only the draw with Antifermo, any kind of stain on his record in recent years. And he certainly avenged that draw. A look at the tail of the tape, it tells you what you know probably already about the big reach advantage, the height advantage for Thomas Hearns, and that's a key element in this fight. But for Marvin Hagler, he expects to get inside against Hearns, and if he doesn't do that, could have a long night.
Can he possibly win if he doesn't get inside?
Well, he could if he catches Hearns on the end of one of his punches, perhaps a left hook. I think that's where him switching righty becomes a key factor. From the outside, I think he's much more effective as a righty. The common opponents, an indication there that Hearns, perhaps with more power, but Marcus Geraldo was not the fighter he was against Hearns that he was against Hagler, and that knockout of Duran. So you can look on and on. The number of punches, these are two fighters who will throw a lot of punches tonight. You see Marvin Hagler throws a lot. He's got a good jab, good combination puncher. The same is true of Thomas Hearns. Look at the number of punches he throws. A lot of left jabs snaking out there.
So the pomp and ceremony still taking place. We're going to have the national anthem shortly. Al, here's the difference now. From Nevada, we go to WBC rules.
And these will change somewhat. 10-point must system still in effect. There is no 3 knockdown rule. There is no standing 8 count. You saved by the bell only in the last round. Again, the 3 judges will score the fight. International judges, the referee, or the ring doctor can stop the fight.
Right now, let's go to the ring and Chuck Hull.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would direct your attention to the lighted tower, the Fantasy Tower at Caesar's Palace, just to the northeast of us, and you will see unfurled the largest American flag in the world. The flag was created by Mr. Ski Dembski. And now it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce a very talented young man as I ask you to rise, please, as our national anthem will be presented by Doc Severinsen. ladies and gentlemen, the color guard from the Marine Corps Reserve here in Las Vegas. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, the officials assigned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission for the next event of the evening. The judges are Dick Young of Los Angeles, California, Herb Santos of Reno, Nevada, and Harry Gibbs of England. The timekeeper is Charlie Roth. Counting at the knockdowns, Jane Broadfoot. The attending physicians at ringside, Doctors Donald Romeo, Flip Omansky, and Charles Filippini. Your referee for the next event of the evening is Mr. Richard Steele. This is the main event of the night. 12 rounds of boxing for the undisputed middleweight championship of the world. Introducing, in the red corner, the challenger, the WBC Super Welterweight Champion, fighting out of Detroit, Michigan, weighing 159 3/4 pounds. His professional record consists of 40 wins, 1 defeat, with 34 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, here is Thomas the Hitman Hearns. And in the middle corner, fighting out of Brockton, Massachusetts, weighing 159 1/4 pounds, with a professional record of 60 wins, 2 defeats, 2 draws, and 50 KOs. Ladies and gentlemen, the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Pat, good 8. Let's go.
So the two come to mid-ring with Richard Steele.
Instructions in the dressing room. I'm just cautioning you now. Obey my command at all times. Shake hands and go let the go for you. Let's go.
Very simple instructions. And finally, it's Hagler against Hearns.
The camera's going to have to go.
Eloquent simplicity by Richard Steele. Let's go.
He knows, they know. Staring at each other through the national anthem. To stare down, of course, so customary before these fights. And here we go. Round 1. Hagler, right off the bat, attempting to get inside. He'd love to be able to pin Hearns on the ropes if he can.
A more aggressive start by Hagler. Look at him, right for the body. Marvin Hagler only wants the body. He bangs Marvin. Oh, Hearns may have hurt him with the right hand.
Hearns hurt another right. Hearns hits him with an uppercut. Hagler, he's hurt. Hagler is done. Hearns got inside. Hit him with a right uppercut. Marvin ties him up.
Marvin Hagler is still hurt.
So it was Hagler coming out like a bullet. A good left by Hagler, but Hearns didn't flinch. Marvin going for the body. Wild first round.
Wow, what a shot. And it was Hagler who initiated it, not Thomas Hearns.
And a left by Hagler. Hearns comes back. Another right. That one's done Hearns. What a first minute of the fight.
Tommy Hearns has been able to drop that right hand in, and it has hurt Hagler, a surprise to many people.
Another right hand from Hearns. Hearns moving. Hagler still pursuing. Comes in with a right. Missing with a left hook.
Here's where I believe Hagler should turn to right. He could block that right hand easier, and he would land his own left hook.
Hearns with a devastating punch. Swelling near Hagler's left eye. Again, Tommy trying to come inside the hands of Hagler.
Low blow by Hearns. Hagler's still looking for the body.
A right by Hagler. Good right got in. He has Hearns where he'd love to keep him on the ropes, but Tommy comes off easily. Another good right by Hearns.
Hagler is now shaking those right hands off, though, Al. He was stunned a little early, and he's normally a slow starter.
He's also bleeding. Hagler is cut. Hagler is cut. Bridge of the nose.
Hagler hitting him low. He is banging the body well. He is taking shots to the head.
He blocks that right. Hearns tries to come in with the uppercut, and Hagler ties him up with a minute to go in a wild first round. Marvin with a good left hand.
There's blood all over Marvin Hagler's face. Can't tell where it's coming from.
I thought it started from the bridge of the nose originally, but blood all over the face of Hagler here in round one. But Hagler has him on the rope. Hagler working on him. Hagler relentless, but Hearns trying to box his way out. Half a minute to go in round one. How far can this one go? That's very far in his face.
This is where Hagler wants it, but Hearns counter-punching off those ropes fairly effectively.
Tremendous first round. Hagler pinning him to the rope, working on him, but Hearns uppercutting again. Hagler bloody. A tremendous, sensational first round as Hearns gets hurt. Hearns got stunned. Hagler was stunned early in the round. Great first round. Wow. Incredible.
Perhaps one of the best in middleweight history.
That was an entire fight encompassed in 3 minutes.
Where is it? Right there. Look around. Don't worry about the cat, man. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Drink the water right now, Pat.
The cut is over the right eye of Marvin Hagler. It's hard to tell. It's not on the eyelid, though. It looks to be on his forehead. That may not be as much of a problem. As we look at it, that was where it came, I believe, for that uppercut from Tommy Hearns. That was early in the round, but now later, Marvin Hagler digging to the body and throwing a right hook. Fought most of that round, in fact, all of it as a southpaw. He took the action of Hearns, a surprise early.
Well, the first round lived up to all the hype, and then some. Round two now. Oh! Left hand by Hagler.
They said this fight would be determined on heart and the good chin. Right now, that's exactly what it's being determined on. Both men have been hurt. You can throw the strategy out the window right now.
A wild first round. Hearns again trying to uppercut. Hearns trying to box. Moving, slipping off the ropes. Coming back and trying to land that right.
They are yelling, keep boxing, Tommy, from his corner. And that looks like what he's going to try and do in this fight.
Hearns off balance. His foot was stepped on, not close to a knockdown.
Excuse me, Al. Hagler turns righty. I think this could be a key moment in this fight.
For the first time, Hagler switching, gets in with a left hand. This round sort of the way people anticipated the first round might go. Another right hand stuns Hearns. The crowd, of course, emphatic over every punch that's thrown. Hagler, despite that reach disadvantages, has been able to get into Hearns more so than I think most people expected.
For one simple reason. Good left hook by Hagler. He took the best Hearns could offer, and he did come in. He's getting through that right hand, even though he's getting hit with it.
Halfway through round two.
Hagler has fought most of this round as a righty. Now he switches southpaw and lands. Not as effective as a righty as I thought, but now as a southpaw, the jab lands well.
That right jab. Hagler coming in with a left. Richard Steele saying, punch your way out, punch your way out.
A key element now is Hagler is working when he's on the inside. He's not just holding, he is working the body of Tommy Hearns. Boy, Hearns looks awkward. His legs look like they're not there.
A little rubbery here in round two. Tommy, though, fluid and moving. Trying to get inside again. The cut opens up over Hagler's forehead. And the blood begins to trickle down. Hagler working inside, now up top. Half a minute to go in round two.
What a left.
Hearns trading with him. Hagler comes out to the right, a left, and another right. He has Hearns in trouble on the ropes. Tommy trying to punch his way off the ropes. Hagler wants to keep him there, goes to the body.
Hagler throws low blows. Marvin Hagler wants to turn this into an alley war, and he's done another low blow. Richard Steele may take points away soon, but will it matter?
Second round coming to an end. Hagler bloody, but very much unbound. End of round two.
Keep your hands up close. When you finish up with the shot, move on to one side or the other, okay?
should have been out here. Try to work on letting him miss with the left and going over here and then coming back with the right.
You got to cut up bad.
Let's box him. Stay away and box him. Let's box him. Let's get your second man to relax like nothing and do Colin Jones. Let's think careful. Let's box him. When you get through with your shot, move off to one side or the other. You're getting hit on tail end punches. You understand?
You can hear Manny Stewart talking to Hearns. They work on the cut of Hagler.
And the Petronelli's good cut men. Goody and Pat have done an excellent job on the cuts of Hagler. What a shock that that man initiated this war right from the beginning. And you know what? I thought he would do well as a righty. He has done better as a southpaw, and he may stay at that.
Again, Stewart telling Hearns to box. As you say, though, Hagler turning it into a street fight.
Well, he turns righty. He wants it to be a street fight. Listen, Marvin Hagler has been rough inside. He's thrown some low blows. He has thrown some elbows.
Don't push.
But you know what? Now the right is getting there, but it's not hurting Hagler. We've got our answer, I think, to some extent. Tommy has been hard-pressed to hurt him with that right. Stunned him early, but not in the last round or two.
Very early. Had him stunned, has him cut. But it was Hagler doing the damage in round two.
And now, just as we thought might happen, Tommy Hearns was hurt early, so he is boxing. Now, he has good boxing skills. He did this against Sugar Ray. Can Hagler get to him in this posture?
Some people thought, as he again becomes off balance, some thought that if Hearns stayed outside and stayed on his bicycle, it would become a dull fight with Marvin chasing him.
But Marvin has been able to corner him, and when Marvin gets him in the corner, he is roughhousing him well.
Again, Hagler is all bloodied. Time is called by Richard Steele to send Hagler over to the ring doctor. He's calling the ring doctor in. Of course, the last thing in the world Hagler wants is the fight to be stopped. The doctor looks at it. Back comes Hagler with a wild left hand. It has to be impeding his vision with the right eye. You never know it, though. Tremendous right. Hearns appears rubbery. He appeared that way in the second round.
You know, Richard Steele is breaking these fighters very quickly. That's uncharacteristic of him. It's hurting Hagler because he wants to work inside. Hearns is smiling, but he's taking shots.
Another right hand. Hearns turns his back, takes another right. Hearns in deep trouble again. Hearns is down. Hearns is down in the third round and on his back. And he's not going to beat the count. I don't believe. Tommy Hearns tries to get up, and
They've got to stop this fight.
Does he get up? He just doesn't know. He can't continue. It's Hagler, full of blood. Blood, no doubt, impeding his vision, stopping him in the third round after Hearns almost ended it on a first-round knockout. It didn't go very far, but it was a beauty.
And Tommy Hearns predicted a knockout in the third. Instead, it is Marvin Hagler, and we certainly hope Tommy Hearns will be all right. He is still wobbly. What a shot. Instead of Hearns initiating early action, it is this man who, believe me, has gained any redemption he needed from the loss to Roberto Duran.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler. So close to being knocked out in the first round. Withstood the barrage. You'd have to figure he lost round one, came back round two, despite the deep cut, time called by Richard Steele in round three. Ring doctor observes, comes back, knocks him out in round three. So it's marvelous Marvin Hagler, 61, 2-2. Another look as we watch it at the end. Hagler with that right hand, that lunging right hand. Hearns turning his back on him, and then you'll see Hagler come in and deliver a right to the side of the head. Hearns backing off again, taking the right hand. Legs gone at that point. Down on his back, got up at the count of 10. That was the end of it. Different angle. Hearns, whose legs became rubbery in the second round, having trouble with his balance in round three. Turning his back. Another right hand from Hagler. But at this point, the damage had been done. Finishing right there. But Hearns was on his way down anyway. Only disappointment is that it didn't go longer. What a 3 rounds. Different angle again now. Right hand from Hagler. And Hearns at that point finished. Off balance and stumbling. And so the man from Brockton, Massachusetts may finally get the respect that he feels he deserves. And acclaim as one of the greatest middleweights in history. Doing nothing to dispute that tonight. Shaking off some thunderous blows in round one. Withstanding the barrage. Suffering the cut. Coming back strong in round two. Finishing them in round three. Hearns right above us in the corner. Tommy still shaking. Tommy on his stool. And Tommy, of course, very disappointed and frustrated. As Marvin Hagler, marvelous Marvin Hagler, the legal name, retains the undisputed middleweight title. And let's go to Al Bernstein now.
Marvin Hagler in a chaotic ring here. He says, am I the greatest? And I guess so, Marvin. Marvin, it was, I guess, perhaps one of the best three-round fights ever. Maybe one of the best middleweights. I guess you did. Here comes Tommy Hearns to say congratulations.
We gave my hell of a show. They got their money worth.
All right. We're happy to see that Tommy's all right. And a lot of congratulations all around and a lot of water as well. Marvin, you took the action to Tommy right away. You went right for his body. He looked like he stunned you momentarily with the right in the first. Did that right hurt you?
It didn't bother me. It just made me madder.
Okay.
I told you I was going to eat him up like Pac-Man. I figured once I get through the right hand, then it was all mine, you know, because I think the first big one, what you try to put me away out there, and I think that's when I got the cut there, but I wanted to show the world I am the greatest now.
Well, you are the greatest middleweight. There's no doubt about that.
Did I say three?
You went right for the body. Was that your plan immediately?
That was the way we planned. I want to thank all my sparring partners. Especially I want to thank God for giving me the strength and the courage and the confidence to go in here and to know that I was the one. I was the champion, but I had to fight like a challenger.
That fight, I think, took tremendous courage on your part for this reason. You walked right in against the cannon. You were willing to take the right hand to knock him out.
You got it. I figured I had to take punches or to give some, but I told you he was going to get some too.
This was, in some ways, not like the Marvin Hagler we've often seen. Not the ring technician. You bombed.
That's it. That's what I felt. I felt as though in every one of my fights I've been fighting, I improved, and I put it all together in this fight.
The Petronelli's here. I guess you've got to be just thrilled with this. It's probably your biggest moment.
The greatest. There's this guy. Does he? Now that we take care of the wise guys, the hurt man, the hit man. We love him.
I want to say to all the people out there who spent their money, I hope that you got your money's worth, because Tommy's a hell of a fighter, and I think I put all my all out here. But the better man won tonight.
You have talked about going after Monzone's record. Is it still on your mind? And I guess this just fuels you. Getting that record might put you in that class of the greatest middleweight.
Definitely. I'm still after Monzone's record, but I don't think that I'll have a big media hype as I did with this one. So I'm going to continue. Okay. This is one of my toughest fights.
Marvin, congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's go back to Kurt Gowdy.
There's been a lot of talk about Hagler retiring. His wife, Bertha's here. There are 4 children, and she wants him to retire. When they ask...
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let's go down
referee Richard Steele stops the bout at 2 minutes, 1 second of the 3rd round. The winner by a TKO and still undisputed middleweight champion of the world, marvelous Marvin Hagler.
So, official, at 2:01, round 3, Hagler saying he hopes everybody got their money's worth. It was a great 8 minutes. It was a great 8:01.
It was an incredible fight, and for Marvin Hagler, I'll tell you what, he did the unexpected, Al. He walked right into the cannons that Tommy Hearns had. He said, I'm going to take what I have to take in order to bomb my way to victory. It was uncharacteristic, but it was exciting, and it was a man looking to gain ultimate respect from the boxing community.
I found it fascinating in a way that you said to him, were you hurt? When we sit here at ringside, and I don't know, sometimes it's a little distorted on television, you knew he was hurt when Hearns hit him, and yet he said, no, it just made me mad, but you knew he was hurt.
I think he was certainly stunned in any case. And I think the fact of the matter is that he was not hurt to the point where Marvin Hagler goes down. Well, Marvin Hagler just doesn't go down. This is a man with such incredible grit and such courage. I just don't think you can say enough about that, because he went in against a very good puncher, welterweight, junior middle, or middle, took the best he could offer, and just his determination and heart won it.
Some thought that he would take Hearns' best shot and leer at him or grin at him. He certainly didn't do that. He was stunned by it, but he was able to withstand it, win the second round, knock him out in the third. Okay, Kurt, so Teddy Brenner, who has seen a few fights in his time, seen 3 of the greatest rounds of boxing, little doubt about it. And since this one ended early, we can go back.
The best challenger out there, and showing you people when I first became champion, I promised you this: when I become champion, that I will fight anyone who is eligible for the title and who I feel deserves the shot at the title, and that's exactly what I'm doing. What you see before your eyes right now is a healthy, marvelous Marvin Hagler. I think that I've come back and I've worked even harder than what I've ever worked before, and I'm pushing that body to its further limit. I'm mean, I'm getting meaner every day. That's the way I feel. I'm staying hungry, I'm staying real hungry. I come to feast on the beast. You know it. And I'm gonna make sure that you're well done, because I don't want any digestions. Let's believe it. I'm a scientific boxer, and what they call me maybe a boxer puncher. I'm very versatile. I can switch from righty to lefty. I can do about anything inside these 4 corners. If you want to bet on this is K and this is O. Okay? Thank you.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler, 61 victories, 51 of them by knockout. Came in at 159.5. Mugabe at 157. Slight reach advantage to Hagler. And these two gentlemen about the same height as you can see. It's a good physical matchup.
Any question from the challenger, or is he second? Any question from the champion, or is he second? Let's get it on. Come on.
Let's get it on. All right. Bill Blades from Reno. An experience. referee of championship bouts. And we are just about ready to go. Hagler in the corner to our left, just above us, in blue trunks, Mugabe in white. Round one.
Anytime there's two punches, Jim, there's immediate excitement. And Hagler is not fighting southpaw. Jim, he's fighting orthodox style. There's a surprise right off the bat.
Can feel the tension in the crowd. High anticipation to watch marvelous Marvin Hagler and the dangerous puncher John Mugabe.
Mugabe throws punches from all angles. They're very, very unorthodox.
Left hook from Hagler.
I want to tell you, that left hook of Mugabe landed, Jim, it may have been all over. He had some leverage on that punch.
He can really sling that left hook, but it usually comes from way outside. If he lands, yes, anything's possible. We might have Hagler in our lap. If he misses, of course, Hagler, the consummate boxer, can counterpunch back.
You know, I'm very surprised that Marvin Hagler is fighting orthodox style. He hasn't fought southpaw as yet.
I think Hagler's showing some proper respect for the punching power of Mugabe here as he's literally feeling him out in round number one. The left hook from Mugabe blocked perfectly by the hand of Marvin Hagler.
Hagler's counter-punching beautifully right now. Tim blocked two punches and counter-punch with a left hook.
Right hand lead by Hagler.
And left hook by Mugabe, Tim.
Right landed by Hagler. Mugabe counter-punches back off each of those, but Hagler has been able to score with the lead.
At this moment, Tim, there's a lot of snap in Mugabe's punches. I don't think I can remember back when Marvin ever started a fight boxing from the orthodox style.
I can't either, and he hasn't turned around as yet.
That takes discipline, Tim, because I know he's more comfortable with the southpaw.
Under a minute to go. What you're thinking about that? The fact that we mentioned earlier that he has been very effective fighting orthodox in recent fights? Or does it have to do with this particular matchup against Mugabe?
Well, I think that they really thought they could foul Mugabe up because he's been working against southpaws all along, and all of a sudden he comes out, and Hagler's not a southpaw.
Mugabe so far has shown good discipline and poise.
Yes, he has.
A wild swinging right by Hagler missed, and he paid for it with punches back to the body. An overhand right landed on the dome of Hagler.
Tim, Hagler is feeling those punches, believe me.
Final seconds of round one.
I know that Mugabe got Hagler's respect that round. I could see it on Marvin's facial expression. He knows he's in with a bomber. Now he's a southpaw, Tim. Now he's back in this comfortable position.
Round number two, scheduled for 12, remember, under the WBC regulations for this bout. There's a left landed by Hagler.
Two left hands by Hagler, Tim. But you know, we always say a left hook is the way to beat a southpaw, and Mugabe's got a vicious left hook.
Solid jab by Hagler scoring. Left to the body underneath the elbow of Mugabe.
And Hagler is doing exactly what Goody Petronella told him. He's using that right jab and moving to his right, trying to negate the punching power of Mugabe.
It has worked so far. He has scored consecutively. And a left hook lead lands.
Hagler was a little wide with that punch, though, Tim.
Solid left by Mugabe. Hagler coming in. The slugfest is on.
And Mugabe is not getting the worst of it at the moment.
He is not. He has not backed up a step, and he looks very relaxed.
Then this is a war. Hagler knows he's in a fight.
Solid jabs by Hagler.
In the gym, Mugabe looked awkward. He looked off balance. I haven't seen it in the fighters yet, Tim. Looks like a fighter.
Under a minute to go, round 2 scheduled for 12. A left lands from Mugabe. And a right.
Every punch is a bomb.
The right, that time, picked off by Hagler, but he had his own glove knocked into his face. Hagler missing.
Mugabe's unorthodox style. He feinted the right hand, threw a left hook before, Tim. I don't think Marvin has seen anything like this.
Good combination that time of the champion.
Look at the steam coming off Marvin Hagler's head.
Under the 30-second mark we go. It is still cool here in Las Vegas. A rainy, cool day.
To the body, and a good right hand by Mugabe.
A left to the ear of the champion from Mugabe.
And a good right hand to the body. He's allowing Mugabe to get set, Tim, which is not a good idea. Now he moves.
Mugabe tried to surprise him with that left hook.
Well, a counsel from Mickey Duff, the manager, along with trainer George Francis. Duff, the more vocal. What do you think of what he told Mugabe?
Well, Tim, he told him, don't drop your hands. Don't get careless. He says, anytime if you feel a little trouble, he said, bend your knees, keep your hands up good and high.
I liked his line, keep your hands up, don't back up, take the heart away from Hagler by not backing up. Well, that's a sound counsel, but I don't think that Marvin Hagler is about to lose heart.
Well, Marvin is moving the way he should move now, Tim. He has to constantly move to his right and use that jab, make Mugabe reach for him. Anytime he's in front of Mugabe, he's in trouble.
Almost surrealistic scene with the steam coming off the dome of Marvin Hagler and the cool air here of Las Vegas. You can see that Hagler averages just a little more than 5 rounds about. Mugabe in his first 26 barely finishes 3. He knocks most people out. We're into round number 3 now.
It's a good counter punch by Hagler. He's got Mugabe reaching a little bit now, Tim.
A good block by Hagler. He picked up that wide left.
Hagler switched around again, Tim. He's boxing orthodox style again. Now he's back to southpaw. He does it so smoothly, it's hard to pick up.
Mugabe teeing off a little more here in the 3rd round.
Marvelous Marvin is making him reach now, Tim. Moving away from Mugabe's power. I'm waiting for Mugabe to rip a right-hand uppercut, Tim. He looks like he's setting Hagler up for that punch. There it is.
Right hand by Mugabe.
Tim, it didn't land. It was blocked, but it still knocked Marvin back about 5 feet.
Yes, it did. He threw his hands up, and that power just moved him back.
And Marvin landed a good right hook.
Hagler working the body with 2 shots.
He has Hagler backing up, Tim.
Under a minute to go in round number 3. The 31-year-old champion. Some people wondering about his age, but he always trained so superbly, never out of shape, never been a factor for him.
Again, that left hand of Hagler's is a little wide. Not throwing that straight dart down the middle. But again, when he can slide to his right, Tim, that's when he's effective. Use that right jab and stay away from those counters. They should tell Mugabe in this corner to move to his left. He's making Mugabe reach now.
2 solid right jabs by Hagler.
Sliding to the right and jabbing. Now it's up to Mugabe to move the other way.
Coming to the end of round number 3. Well, again, some defiance from the challenger, but a good round for Hagler.
We're getting to him with the jab and be the aggressor. Hold it. All right.
Don't drop your hands. Right?
A little bit of blood there somewhere.
No.
Well, it must be. Yeah. A little patience. You'll be all right with this guy. You can't make a mistake. You're right. You're working on it now, right? All right.
Tim, I'm surprised that in neither corner are they using a blanket or a heavy towel to keep these guys warm, because it is cold out here, and they have a tendency to cool down. I'm surprised the both cornermen.
The air is cooler as the evening has gone on, too. We've been here since 6 p.m. Las Vegas time, and it is definitely cooler. There's Sugar Ray Leonard and giving some counsel. You can see how chilly it is. You saw Ray warming his hands there, and he's got a sweater and a jacket on. John Mugabe. Well, I think he has surprised a lot of people so far through 3 rounds. We scored that last round for Marvin Hagler using that right jab to good effect. I would call the fight dead even through 3. Gil, would you agree?
Just about it, Tim.
Tim Ryan, Gil Clancy, Al Bernstein at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. And there is some drama in this bout, definitely.
Mugabe is allowing Hagler to move the way he wants to move.
He seems to be content to stay in the middle and just kind of pivot with Hagler.
He's allowing Hagler to get 3 shots now, though, Tim. No counter from that right-hand miss by Hagler.
A left by Hagler and a counter back right from Mugabe.
Low blow by Hagler. There's Mills Lane right on the ball.
Mugabe has not backed up so far. Has hardly blinked, and he's taken some good shots.
Very fast hands, though. But again, it's the pattern of the fight that counts.
And the pattern working currently in the favor of the champion Hagler. Using the jab, moving around a stationary target. Another solid jab, left to the ear behind it. Good combination by Hagler. Piston-like jab. Missed with a big left hook.
Then that could have ended it.
Yes, it could have. Solid jab. Mugabe not leading here as Hagler just keeps the pace on. Under a minute to go, round 4.
That was Mugabe's feet got tangled. Then he was able to get hit with a couple of counter punches.
Hagler blocking effectively. Mugabe has shown he can take a punch. How many is the question?
He throws punches from unorthodox angles. He's always dangerous.
Under the 30-second mark we go. Round number 4, scheduled for 12.
There's that uppercut. That's that punch I thought he was setting Hagler up for.
He landed it. He landed it. And Hagler keeps coming forward. Humping that jab. There's a right counter back from Mugabe. Right hand to the ear at the bell for Mugabe. Round number 5. Mugabe comes up quickly this round, and that gets Marvin's attention.
I think it was the Blue Trunks that came out quickly, Tim. Landed 5 or 6 good solid punches.
Round 5 scheduled for 12.
There's that quick left hook of Mugabe's. But again, Hagler's moving to his right, taking a lot of that power away.
An interesting progression in the fight for sure. The first round, working from the orthodox, a right-handed side. Hagler was unable to accomplish a great deal against Mugabe. We scored that round close for Mugabe. A very close, probably even second round, and Hagler had switched around to his more comfortable southpaw stance. Since then, it's been his aggressive jabbing and some effective counterpunching by Mugabe, with neither fighter able to back the other up.
There's that uppercut again by Mugabe. And there it is again. Hagler's left hand today is not that straight. And he used to throw a good straight left hand. Now it's a little wide. Every time he's thrown it in this fight, it's been, there was a pretty straight left hand. But now Hagler is not moving the way he's there. He's moving back over to the right again. This is a mind-over-matter fight.
Solid body shots from the champion in that exchange. Mugabe just stands in the middle of the ring, pivots around as Hagler circles. Now he comes forward. Under a minute to go. Round number 5. Solid uppercut from the challenger, but that jab from the champion right back.
Then the big difference in this fight right now is Marvin Hagler's stiff chair. Everything else is just about equal.
On the scoreboard, that will likely show up. Our 3 judges, Jerry Roth, Dave Moretti, Dalby Shirley, all from Las Vegas. Under the 30-second mark we go. We've been joined at ringside by Tommy Hearns. We're going to have him get involved with us in round number 6. An interested observer for sure. The jab landed. The left behind it was blocked by Mugabe.
Again, that wide left hand by Hagler. But that jab is working overtime, Tim. There it is again.
Final seconds of round 5. Straight left to the nose of Mugabe just before the bell, but he didn't move. He didn't move. Schuler to win the NABF middleweight crown and do his part in creating the rematch. It's now up to Marvin Hagler. And Tommy, 5 rounds have gone by. Did you expect Mugabe to still be here? What are your impressions?
Well, Tim, I thought it was going to be a tough fight. I thought that the guys would go in there and take a few rounds. I thought it would definitely take a few rounds before they really start connecting. Right now, they're starting to slow down now, especially John Mugabe. He's sitting there, he's like a sitting target right now. And therefore, Hagler is using his jab very effectively and building up points with his jab. I think it's just be a matter of time before Hagler be able to get that left hand right through there.
Are you saying then that you think that it'll be Hagler's power ultimately, that he'll stop Mugabe before 12?
I think I don't think it will go 12 rounds. I think that Marvin Hagler will stop him.
All right, Tommy Hearns with his viewpoint, and as we said, if anybody's really interested in the outcome, it's Thomas Hearns.
Tommy, you mentioned that Marvin's going to get that left hand through there, but so far since the fight started, I've noticed that he's been throwing his left hand very wide. That's about the straightest one he threw.
Well, what Hagler is doing is looping. He's looping his left hand. He's not shooting a straight left hand. The first left hand I seen tonight was left hand just a minute ago.
A test of physical strength now, and Hagler's landing a good combination. But he can't move Mugabe back.
My God, Tim, what punishment this Mugabe's taking, and he's still there.
Hagler with target practice now, but he just cannot move Mugabe back. A warning to from Lane for a low blow again. A right hand lead by Hagler. Keeping the pressure on it. He caught a left counter. Another left counter from Mugabe, and Hagler won't move back. A test of wills, finally. Mugabe driven back to the ropes. 2 consecutive right hands. Finally, the legs of Mugabe starting to show a little wear. Hagler keeps the pressure on. The months of preparation, the conditioning, Hagler showing here as he fires one punch after another. But Mugabe still on his feet.
Tim, we talk about a guy with an iron shin. Mugabe has it.
There's an uppercut from Hagler.
Hagler better not punch himself out, Tim.
Now Mugabe firing back.
Better not punch himself out.
John Mugabe is some tough customer. Takes another shot.
He's hit Hagler with some good shots too, Tim.
Finally, they clinch along the ropes. First time Mugabe attempted to grab Hagler. And Mugabe fires back. He lands a left hook.
Mugabe is tie-in now.
What a round.
He seems to be able to take some good shots real good.
You're listening to Thomas Hearns, who's joined Gil Clancy and me at ringside with Al Bernstein. And here comes Hagler off quickly, firing out that right jab.
Tim, if I was in Hagler's corner, that's what I'd have him doing. Just keep popping that jab, and be patient.
Hagler's left hand is getting straighter now as we move on through the rounds. He just threw another straight right hand, left hand there.
Mugabe just gets himself planted in that wide stance and says, move me, try to. Well, Hagler's doing it now. We're in round 7, scheduled for 12. Well, Mugabe just leaned back. Hagler missed him, nearly fell down.
And there's one of those unorthodox punches of Mugabe's. You don't know where they're coming from. Boy, they have snap.
See the breath coming from him on this cool Las Vegas night. 2 cuffs to the ear from the champion Hagler. Gil, did you feel that there would be a 7th round?
Tim, I certainly did not.
Nor did I.
In the gym, Mugabe left himself wide open, but it seems when he gets hit, nothing happens.
There have been no knockdowns, although a lesser man would have gone down in round 6 from the onslaught from Hagler. Again, another warning, and they may be taking a point. Yes, they are. A point away from Hagler here in the 7th round after he had been warned twice before for low blows.
Tommy, did you notice that left hand of Marvin's that time? He just doesn't seem to be pegging it the way he usually does. Now he's fighting orthodox style.
Well,
now he's... No.
Marvin, what he's doing, he keeps switching up, and he's trying to confuse Mugabe. Mugabe, he's fighting 1 minute as left hand, then switch up and go to right hand. And I think that's kind of throwing him off. That's why Mugabe is standing back in that crotch in that stand.
Hagler seems to be much better off in this fight. Oh, a good straight left by Hagler. And a right hook.
Here they go again, toe-to-toe, round 7. Solid left from Hagler. Combination from the champion. Hagler having his way with the right jab. Mugabe's hands a little lower as time wears on.
Well, I'll tell you what, there's one important thing. 2 actions by Mills Lane will be looked at kind of controversially. When he stepped in to stop the action before and a round to go, and taking that point away from Hagler for the low blows. Both, I think, could draw some criticism from the media and certainly from Hagler fans.
We're into round number 8. Tim Ryan, Gil Clancy, Al Bernstein, and WBC Super Welterweight Champion Thomas Hearns. We've got Hagler ahead, although remember he did have a point taken away in round number 7, but on our scorecard he has had the best of it since round 2, which we scored even.
Tim, in Hagler's corner, they told him, you know, don't get wild, just score your points. But one mistake that Hagler, one of the fellas in Hagler's corner said he has nothing left. I'd never sell this guy short.
Well, the last time anybody went the distance with Marvin Hagler was Roberto Duran, the only man attempting to take his crown away who went the distance, 15 that night here in Las Vegas.
There you go. There you go.
Good combination by the champion, over and under. Under and over, actually. Oh, an uppercut lead, that landed. But Mugabe fires back a left.
That's what I'm talking about, Tim, when they say he had nothing left. There was plenty of snap in that jab, in that hook, I should say.
Talk about well-conditioned athletes. Talk to sports fans. There's no better well-conditioned athlete than 2 championship fighters. These guys are really tuned up. Mugabe says this is the best shape he's ever been in, as one would expect him to be, taking on Marvin Hagler. 26-year-old John Mugabe from Kampala, Uganda, unbeaten in 26 fights.
Hagler is very confident now, Tim. He's smiling at Mugabe.
And a minute to go, round 8.
Well, Mickey Duff said win or lose. He said Mugabe would come out a much more popular fighter.
No doubt about that. This young man can fight. He is an attraction. He is strong. And there's a solid right hand from Mugabe, and Hagler didn't blink.
Well, Hagler again had switched to the orthodox style. I think he had better stay southpaw, Tim. He's doing a good job with that right jab. Why should he switch off?
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think Hagler, his best work is on with the southpaw position. He's given Mugabe all the work that he possibly can stand in the left-hand position.
Tommy, you landed some real good shots in your fight against Marvin Hagler. It must be a little frustrating to not see him respond, react. That's what's happening to Mugabe.
Well, again, he's setting Mugabe up with that right jab, Tim. And that's the way he should stay. Just keep working behind that jab.
And everybody but Newt Rockney in the corner there trying to pep up John Mugabe. Father Tony was there. And their feeling is clear that Mugabe isn't being busy enough, that they must recognize he's falling behind on the cards. What did you pick out of that, Gil?
Well, Tim, Mickey Dove said you have the fight won. I don't know where he came up with that, but that's what he said. You have the fight won. He said, listen to the father. Don't give up on yourself.
Well, that was the impression that I got, that they were saying, you know, don't quit on us.
Also, Tim, this is only the second. He's never been this far only one time against Hard Rock Green, so he's headed into territory that John Mugabe is not used to seeing. Went 10 with Green, but 9 rounds, he hasn't seen that very often.
I think his conditioning has already indicated that he's capable of going the distance if it goes that far. But he's going to have to make something happen, the way I see it at least. And now there's some tape that has come out the right glove of Mugabe and Mills Lane over there to make sure that's repaired.
Well, Tim, again, they're fighting outdoors, and believe me, it's much easier to fight a lot of rounds outdoors than it is in the smoky arena. So I don't think that either guy, right now, fatigue is not a factor.
Come on,
they're both sharp.
Tommy, I'd like to go back to that, the punching, the ability to take a punch that Marvin Hagler has shown here, and certainly showed against you. What are your feelings about that?
I think that Marvin has the ability of taking a good shot, but you know, he has taken a lot of great shots here tonight, and I give Craig what Craig is doing, and I think that Marvin definitely deserves some credit. But I think that I'm a much stronger and harder puncher than John Mugabe.
Well, that's what everybody is waiting to see if the rematch takes place.
That's yet to be proven. And I'm planning on proving that.
All right. Tommy Hearns.
You know, this fight isn't over yet, fella. You're talking about Hagler and Hearns.
No,
What's the fight?
There's a lot of ifs. A lot of ifs prefacing all of that.
Right now, there's a lot of ifs because the fight is not over. John Mugabe is still putting up a good fight. He's still trying. He hasn't quit yet.
Round 9 scheduled for 12, and there's a right hand from the challenger, Mugabe. That's scored. Combination from Mugabe.
Some solid punches by Mugabe, Tim. Right hands right down the pipe. There it is again.
You got to bring something behind that left, that right hand. You just can't shoot that right hand and expect the right hand to do damage. Each time you shoot that right hand, Marvin Hagler is countered by over the shot.
Tommy, he doesn't have the balance. He can't come back with the left hook.
Well, that's something you got to learn in training.
Was not doing so well in the previous rounds. He said you got yourself back into it. It's now a 3-round fight. We're into round number 10.
And Tim, they were very calm in Hagler's corner. They just get your rhythm, just keep popping, and don't show him too much respect.
Well, I got the impression that they conceded that round 9 to Mugabe with their comments of saying, just get back into your rhythm, Marvin.
Mugabe's landing a lot of good punches now, Tim.
Yes, he is. That last exchange.
Good straight right hand.
Hey, come on, Joe.
This has been a terrific middleweight championship bout. We're into the 10th.
I don't think John liked that body shot just then, Gil.
No, he got hurt.
That was a good body shot by Marvin, and John did not like it.
He was smart enough to hold, though, Tommy.
Oh, yes.
Marvin's right eye is just about closed now, Tim. They were using the end swell on it last round, but it's puffy, very puffy.
Most of the swelling underneath the right eye.
Tommy, there's that wide left hand by Hagler again. He's not throwing it down the pipe.
Well, Hagler's, at times Hagler falls apart. He forgets what he's doing, it seems like.
Big left hook by Hagler.
Wide shots.
Chopping uppercut from Hagler.
Now, Hagler doesn't get the credit for being as good an inside fighter as he is, and he's showing us why right now.
Hagler pressuring Mugabe.
Mugabe landed some terrific shots, Tim. He has to be discouraged because Marvin did not take a backward step.
He's backing up Mugabe finally.
Well, Hagler is concentrating on backing Mugabe up, putting the pressure on. And it seems like Mugabe is falling apart. He don't like it downstairs. He's trying to keep his hands down low to try to block those body punches. But all he's doing is setting himself up for some good shots to the head.
Short chopping punches by Hagler, who just pulls his way forward and keeps firing.
Well, that seems to be the ticket inside for Hagler. And Mugabe's punches seem to be lacking a lot of snap now, Tim.
Finally in the 10th round, the pace of the assault from the champion starting to show on Mugabe.
Oh, Marvin didn't like that body shot. That was a good left hook to the body.
Under the 30-second mark in round 10. The leg starting to show a little sagging under Mugabe.
He's tired now, Tim. But he still throws bombs.
The end of round 10.
Push him. Now, John, don't mean push him back. Seconds up. He goes down.
Well, John Mugabe certainly got lots of encouragement from Mickey Dutt, George Francis, and even Father Tony.
No, Tim, they made Father Tony the lead. They said, if you won't listen to me, listen to the father.
I think it's just a matter of Mugabe being tired. He's never been to the 11th round ever in his life. He's never taken this kind of punishment at all.
Well, he's really tired now.
Well, that's the key. The key is the punishment. That's why he's tired. And Hagler keeps the heat on. Uppercut inside by the challenger.
Tim, as I said earlier, he'll be dangerous while he's falling down. And Marvin is doing a job on him now, Tim. Just taking him apart with short little punches.
Wings two over the top just for good measure, and he's got him hurt. He's got him hurt. Mugabe finally goes down in the 11th round. Stop it. He's more dead tired than anything else, and it's all over. He's just exhausted from the continual assault. Marvelous Marvin Hagler retains his undisputed middleweight championship of the world with an 11th round knockout over a game and exciting challenge from John Mugabe. Thanks to Tommy Hearns for joining us at ringside. 129 of the 11th round. Marvelous Marvin Hagler racks up his 12th consecutive title defense, pushes his record up to 62 victories against just 2 losses and 2 draws. 52 knockouts for the 31-year-old champion, and you can see that he was in a tough fight against a tough man from Kampala, Uganda, a tribal warrior who came to fight, and the face of Marvin Hagler, the swelling under the right eye, showing that he was in there against a tough challenge tonight. A dramatic, well-fought fight. Hagler continues to impress with his determination, his poise, his skill, and his ability to finish when he's got the opportunity. They're working on John Mugabe over there. They have him seated on a stool. Dr. Donald Romeo Dr. Flip Pomansky there attending to him, and he is apparently all right. Gillen looked to me like he was mainly exhausted from the continual punishment than from an actual kind of a knockout shot.
Well, Tim, any of these fighters that knocked everybody out, he didn't have much experience going a lot of rounds, and he got tired.
All right,
the time.
Get the time from
1
Chuck
minute,
Hull.
29 seconds of the 11th round. The winner by a knockout, and still the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
There is Marvin Hagler. Let's go up to our Al Bernstein if he is ready to go in the ring. Now, while we're waiting, Al hooking up with Marvin Hagler, let's go back and look at the knockout blows. That two rights in a row, and that second one did most of the damage, but you can see just how exhausted he is here. Finally, just caves in. Tremendous display by Hagler, and a great display by John Mugabe, who made a lot of friends and fans here tonight.
And he'll be back. He's only 26 years of age, doesn't have much experience because he knocked everybody out so quickly.
Okay. Right, let's go.
And so we're ready to go, live from Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. At stake, the undisputed middleweight championship of the world. The principles are familiar. Marvin Hagler in the burgundy trunks, the southpaw, against Roberto Duran in the dark blue. These first moments, so important. Both fighters wanting to test the strength of the other.
Hagler, of course, familiar to most people, that left-handed style. Remember, he will switch to righty at various times throughout this fight if he thinks it'll be effective against Duran. There's the jab from Hagler, and that's a punch that he will need tonight if he's to win against Duran.
Duran working the body of Hagler, and he gets a warning from the referee to watch it or low. Hagler told me that if he finds out early that he seems to be stronger than Duran, he'll go right at him, take him out of there immediately.
And indeed, Duran trying to go to the body early, that is a tactic many people believed he would do.
Duran has lost 4 times. In all 4 defeats, his opponents have stayed outside his range of power. Here in the early moments, Hagler has done that. You don't expect that for the rest of the evening.
Obviously, both fighters, it's a chess match now. They want to feel each other out and see just what the other has to offer. And for Hagler, so far, he's found out one thing. He can land his jab a little bit against Duran, and that will be important to him if he can continue to do it.
We're halfway through the opening round. A bit of a right hand by Duran on the chin of Hagler was a glancing blow. Hagler has never been down as an amateur or professional. The last time Duran was down was 9 years ago. He was down twice in his career as a pro, both left hooks by Esteban de Jesus, oddly in the first rounds of those bouts, with Duran coming back and winning.
For those people who claim that Hagler would be awed by this event, this is the time when it would affect him. He would be tight in the first round and perhaps be hurt, as Duran hurt Leonard early in their fight.
That right hand of Duran was picked off by Hagler, but not that one. Duran gets in a right hand. Duran's best punch is the right hand, tries to throw the lead right. Watching Hagler in his workouts, he and Pat Petronelli worked on slipping that right hand and countering with both the left and the right. Hagler won't show his uppercut early in the fight. He wants to get Duran with that later on when they're at close quarter. Less than 30 seconds to go in a getting-to-know-you opening round.
You saw Duran slip the jab in the right and the left hand by Hagler. That's what he intends to do, he hopes, all night.
Hagler had his left blocked by Duran as he moved backward. Duran, an underrated defensive fighter. He was awesome in that regard against Davey Moore, continually slipping Moore's right hand. A quiet opening round. That's not a scoop, everybody knows it. Round 2, scheduled for 15.
And Hagler said something very interesting. He said, yeah, I know, he's trying to get that thumb in there. Of course, Duran gave a thumb to Davey Moore early in their fight, whether intentional or not. It blinded Moore's vision and helped him win that fight, and the Hagler camp very concerned about that tonight.
A slow boil here. We haven't had any eruptions as yet. Duran with a short left hand. Hagler with a left hand of his own to the side of Duran's face. Hagler there showing the stiff jab and then the left cross to the head of Duran.
I think the key question right now in everyone's mind is, can Duran hurt Hagler? We haven't seen any evidence yet. He hasn't hit him with anything, and that's what Hagler's really waiting for. He wants to see.
The second warning from the referee, Stanley Cristosulo, to Duran about a low blow. And we're in the second round.
Early on, Duran is getting under the jab and the straight left of Hagler, and so it'll be incumbent upon Hagler, as he blocks that right, to use the uppercut effectively on the inside, as he's doing right there.
Hagler working with the free left hand there as Duran was holding on. Duran with a short right.
So far in this fight, it's Hagler who's working harder on the inside. Many people thought it would be Duran who would be ripping shots to the body and the head.
Just past the halfway mark of round 2. Hagler with a left hand to the head of Duran. That straightened him up. That right hand of Duran was blocked by Hagler. And we're starting to get the first indications of strength here. As it looks like Hagler's having no problem moving Duran. Hagler comes from downstairs with an uppercut. Less than a minute to go. Hagler with the left hand on the head of Duran, and Duran gives him a sneer. The familiar sneer of Duran is back. And now we're starting to percolate as the champion, Hagler, is starting to unwind. Duran with the right hand on the head of Hagler.
Duran just waiting to drop the right hand in. He feels that's his ticket to win this fight. So far, most have been blocked by Hagler, but 1 or 2 have gotten in. That one was blocked.
The crowd erupts every time Duran throws something, and in the last few seconds, he had a right hand block that he missed with a right, but yet there were cheers from the crowd. Hagler seems intent on getting off first. That right hand by Duran was short on the chest of Hagler.
When Hagler is fighting as a lefty, his punches are a little wider. Some people think that may be a problem for him, and Duran may be able to get inside the wide left hand.
But Duran has not been able to solve that.
Well, as we head into round 3, he's landing the jab, but I don't think quite as often as he wants to, Sal. But will Duran be able to avoid it as we go on in this fight?
That right hand by Duran picked off by Hagler again. And through 2 rounds, Hagler staying outside of Duran's power.
Step back. We thought we might see a little more lateral movement from Hagler to confuse Duran. That was something Moore and Cuevas did not do in their fights, but he really has been going right at Duran.
Duran short again. A left to the stomach by Duran as Hagler missed and was out of position. So the legend still has the cute moves, knows when to take advantage.
And as we said at the top, if there's a way that Duran would win this fight, I think it would be that way. He just slipped a straight left by Hagler. It's his defensive skills that I think will make this fight for him. Now on the inside, Hagler doing most of the punching.
Duran insists that he's in tip-top shape. He trained for most of the summer. Hagler did the same. Hagler just brought a right uppercut onto the face of Duran. We're halfway through round number 3.
And this fight has certainly turned into a chess match. If people thought it would be a brawl, so far it is not that. And maybe it was never meant to be because we have 2 master boxers in there.
Hagler showing tremendous respect for Duran, staying outside of his power. He just switched to the orthodox style and banged Duran with a lead right hand. Hagler stays in the orthodox stance and switches left. Less than a minute to go in round 3. Duran with a left to the head. Hagler with a right to the head of Duran. Duran with a short right hand on the face of Hagler. Another right hand by Duran to the head of Hagler. Hagler with a big left hand that rocked Duran. Duran with a right uppercut. And now Duran has gotten Hagler into a major exchange here in round 3. And this is where Roberto wants him. At close range, especially on the ropes. You'll notice that Hagler just spun away from the ropes. He doesn't want to be there.
And now Duran coming forward. Apparently he feels after that exchange that he can fight inside with Hagler. And they were both throwing flurries in that round.
Duran moments ago ducked underneath an express train of a left hand by Hagler. Hagler caught nothing but air. Some action from round number 3.
And on the inside, people wondered, would Hagler just hold on as he did against Antifermo, or would he throw punches? This indicates he is throwing punches, but certainly Roberto scored well on the inside.
Goody Petronelli told Marvin in the corner just moments ago, don't try and knock him out. It's not the name of the game. He sensed that Duran had lured Hagler into close range exchanges in that 3rd round. Wants Marvin on the outside, boxing Duran, making Duran work, making Duran lunge. Round 4. Duran has closed the distance to Hagler. They're closer than ever before.
And they are both smiling at each other at alternate times during these rounds. There's the jab and the left hand by Hagler. That's what he wants to get in, but Duran has done a fairly good job of slipping that jab. Now here's the dancing and the lateral movement by Hagler. Perhaps we'll see more of it as the fight progresses.
There's no question that Hagler respects the strength of Duran at this point. And Duran with his 3rd warning about a low blow. Of course, many feel it's the advantage of Hagler to make Duran work and make this fight go a long distance.
And now Hagler's starting to throw some feints at Duran and trying to show him a little movement. And so far, Duran, while Hagler hasn't landed much, Duran's going for all those feints.
Right hand by Duran. Hagler with a left to the body. That backed up Duran for an instant. A big swat of a left hand by Hagler, the kind of jab that decked Caveman Lee in the 1st round.
And indeed, now Hagler is starting to get his jab on track, and I guess that's the most important weapon for him in this fight. If he can land it, he'll be very effective.
We're halfway through the fourth. Duran with the right hand, and Hagler didn't even move. A right hand by Duran, right on the butt. That caught Hagler on the chin. Less than a minute to go in round 4.
Duran has shown us one thing. The right hand can get home to Hagler. Hasn't done that much in this fight, but he has landed it several times. That's good news for him and his fans.
A right to the body by Duran, but he paid the price. Hagler countered with a left hook to the head.
Hagler starting to throw some combinations. That's been absent so far from both fighters in the first 3.5 rounds.
Less than 30 seconds to go in the round. No question, Hagler reverted back to the boxing style here in round 4 after getting into a couple of toe-to-toe exchanges with Duran in round 3.
And I think by and large he was more effective because of it.
And here comes the chant of Duran's name. Rounds, I think Roberto Duran now knows that he's not facing an indomitable force here, that he's still very much in this fight. He's not going to be steamrolled by Marvin Hagler.
No, that's clearly the case, and what he also knows is that occasionally he can get that right hand in, and if he can hurt Hagler with it, could do himself some good in this fight.
Round 5, scheduled for 15. Hagler with a bit of a left hand, Duran with a right hand in response. Not too much impact there.
I mentioned at the outset that Hagler likes to switch to the righty style. So far, he has not done that in this fight, apparently feeling that he can be more effective as a southpaw against Duran. And there he does it. As soon as I said he hadn't done it, he switches to the righty stance.
Left hook to the head from the righty stance by Marvin Hagler.
Well, in the brief time he's changed righty, he's fought well against Duran.
In the workouts every day, Hagler fought several rounds right-handed to be sharp, to be able to show Duran that he can go both ways. And Hagler with a right hook from the lefty stance rattled Roberto Duran.
And he landed a good uppercut just before that. So he's starting to get the hand speed unlimbered, and Hagler looks a little looser here in round 5. And after round 3, you'll note Goody Petronelli said you look tight out there.
Duran switched again to the orthodox style, tried a left hook, but he missed. We're halfway through round 5. That right hand by Duran was blocked by Hagler. We point that out because you should not be misled by the cheers of the crowd.
Good
Hagler with a right hand, Duran with a right hand. Hagler comes back with a straight left to the head. Duran with a whack of a right hand on the side of Hagler's head. Less than a minute to go in the round. Duran gets away with a low blow out of the view of the referee.
Neither fighter has done much body work in the last several rounds. That's something they're both noted for. And neither fighter working that effectively on the inside.
They trade body shots. Less than 30 seconds to go in the round. Double jab there by Hagler. He's tied up by Duran, and he drifts toward the ropes. Christodoulou letting them battle their way out of that clinch.
Duran is finding Hagler a relatively elusive target also, not like Davey Moore or Pepino Cuevas when he fashioned those two big comeback wins. Hagler a much better defensive fighter than those two men.
Right hand by Duran, and that was right on the chin of Hagler, but he's not hurt. And there's the bell marking the end of the 5th round. Some action from the previous round, the 5th. That was early in the round. They're applying that metal piece called end swell on the left cheekbone of Hagler. Apparently, there's some apprehension there about some swelling. That's always a telltale sign. But we are right in the underneath Hagler, and it doesn't seem to be a pronounced problem.
You'll get him out.
But at any rate, they're putting on that metal piece.
Just go ahead and do it. Patience, man.
They used that on Sugar Ray Leonard when he fought Thomas Hearns and kept him in the fight until Ray took out Hearns in the 14th round.
In the last round,
This is
Hagler.
round 6.
In the last round, Hagler switched to righty, and I thought Sal was very effective, but he's not gone back to that style yet. When he switched to righty, he landed a very good straight right hand. This is a tactical fight, and the experts were divided on who they thought would win if it became this kind of fight. Many people felt Duran could not fight him from the outside, but Roberto's not doing that badly from the outside against Hagler.
A left hand by Hagler. Duran shakes his head, no, I'm not hurt. The couple of jabs there by Hagler had put Duran off balance and wide open for the shot. Duran with a right hand after he was hit by a right by Hagler. So we're getting some toe-to-toe stuff here.
I think when Hagler switches to righty, he is much more effective against Duran, and there he does it now. He can land often in the righty stance. There's the good jab by Hagler. A good right by Hagler. This is the way he needs to be in this fight.
A hard jab by Hagler from the orthodox stance. Hagler with a left hook to the head. Hagler switches to lefty, goes to righty, and they're in the center of the ring now. Duran not been able to make full connections as much as Hagler.
And I think we're seeing the key to this fight. If Marvin Hagler could sustain his attack as a righty, I think he'd be very effective. Good uppercut by Hagler.
We're halfway through the 6th round. Duran with a right and left. Hagler here applying some pressure. He's gone into another gear.
And it's Hagler on the inside, not Duran, who's dominating the action as many people thought.
Hagler now digging in now, throwing shots, and he is catching Duran. Duran still coming forward. Big right hand by Hagler from the righty stance. That was his best punch. Less than a minute to go now, and Duran is starting to feel some of that power from Hagler.
And again, Marvin goes back to lefty. I don't know why he's so effective as a right-hander against Duran.
There's no question in this round, Hagler made up his mind to start to drill Duran, and he has approached Duran from a different philosophy, and that is he has turned into slugger here. He was boxing Duran earlier in the fight. Duran is flat-footed, breathing hard, less than 30 seconds to go in the 6th, and Hagler is digging in and throwing shots from his heels.
And the strength of Hagler taking over here now, the first real middleweight that Duran has faced, and he's finding out how powerful Hagler is.
Hagler with the left hand, another left hand. In between, Duran missed with an uppercut. A strong 6th round for Marvin Hagler.
You can see Hagler anxious for this next round.
Hagler comes out righty.
Sal, I wonder if he deliberately fought the first few rounds lefty to lull Duran into a false sense of security, knowing that he could win with the right-handed stance.
Although he's switched now again back to the southpaw stance, Hagler giving Roberto a different look. He switches again.
Duran's left jab landing even better at the righty than his right jab was landing when he was southpaw.
Right hand lead by Hagler from the orthodox stance. No question, Hagler not only has gone into a different gear, he has stepped up the pace. And he just poked his glove at Duran as if to say, you're trying to thumb me. Duran giving him his now famous sneer. And Duran that time slipped the right hand.
A strange show of bravado by Duran after his worst round in the fight in round 6. Maybe he knows something.
left hook to the head. Both fighters smiling at each other. Lots of gamesmanship here as the crowd is chanting Duran's name. We're halfway through the 7th.
One of the misnomers about this fight was that Duran would not fight inside, that he would simply hold. He has been the one who's been dominant when they are inside. Good lead right by Hagler.
And you can hear that across the ring. Hagler pushing Duran to a fast pace here. He wants Duran to work hard. Hagler out-punching Duran here in the 7th as he did in the 6th, and Duran seems undismayed. He mocks Hagler, smiles at him. Hagler's expression is unchanged since he entered the ring. It's a menacing look.
Against Vito Antuofermo in their first fight, Hagler dominated all the early rounds, as he may be doing here against Duran. Ran out of gas, got frustrated when Antuofermo wouldn't go down. Will that happen in this fight if Duran can take it the full 15?
Less than 30 seconds to go in the 7th.
And there, look on the inside. It's Hagler really throwing the shots, not Duran.
It is Hagler who's got Duran against the ropes. Duran wanted this, but he wanted the other way. He wanted to press the attack against Hagler. Has not been able to do that. They're at close range, and Hagler rumbling pretty well. A right hand by Duran at the bell, and they stare at each other. Round 8. Neither man has been cut or down.
Even though Marvin Hagler hasn't boxed all through this fight, he has used his pretty good foot speed and his good ring generalship to get away from Duran when there was danger. And that's something, as I said, Davey Moore and Pepino Cuevas just didn't have the tools to do against Duran. So I think now Hagler would like for Duran to lunge in with the right hand. Certainly Duran must sense he's falling behind. Hagler would like to catch him with counter shots as Duran lunges in with the right.
We are approaching the halfway mark of the fight. Al, I want your impressions about how one man has been able to prevail his will over the other, or has that occurred?
Well, I think Hagler has done so more out of technical abilities than anything else. He is simply a better boxer than Duran has faced in recent times.
And Duran has not seen this kind of pressure since he fought Ray Leonard.
You see the right hand blocked by Hagler. Hagler has fought a pretty good defensive fight. Duran himself has avoided being hit really flush by Hagler, and now Hagler turns to righty, and watch how effective he is when he turns to this stance.
He made a pivot move and brought that left hook to the head. He just did it twice. Hagler's corner knows that Marvin is especially effective in the orthodox stance, and they welcome him switching to the righty style.
And Marvin wants to fight on the inside with Duran. Unlike what people thought, he's ripping shots to the body and the head.
Less than a minute to go in round 8. After a spirited 6th and 7th rounds, it's quiet here in the 8th.
And if there's an edge in body work, it certainly would go to Hagler, and that is a factor as we go on in this fight. Will that take something out of Duran? Hagler blocks those punches.
They're starting to bang their heads here in round 8. There's always the problem of the butt.
And of course, Hagler himself has occasionally been guilty, as he was in his second fight with Antuofermo, of using his head as a weapon.
The first half of this round was quiet. It's been stepped up because of Hagler's ability to punch in bunches. Hard jab there by Hagler. Yet another one. A countering right hand by Duran. Duran comes out flat-footed for round number 9. A wide stance. It looks like Duran here wants to really rumble. He wants to get Hagler at close quarters.
And Hagler again as a righty. You heard Goody Petronelli say, I like you as a righty. Change up and use that often.
Hagler looks like he's ready to accommodate Mr. Duran if he wants to go toe-to-toe here at close quarters. Duran has closed the distance between himself and Hagler.
We've talked about Duran's defense, and it's excellent, but Marvin Hagler in this fight has shown that he also is a good defensive fighter, picking off punches and slipping others. Although occasionally Duran does get in with that straight right hand. The jab of Duran has been almost non-existent in this fight.
Another right hand blocked by Hagler. Hagler with a three-punch combination on the head of Duran.
Hagler slipping the jabs and pounding the body of Roberto Duran.
Then he came upstairs with some uppercuts, and that brought an ooh and an ah from the crowd. Right hook by Hagler.
This fight is very reminiscent of the fight that Hagler fought here in Las Vegas against Vito Antuofermo when he tried to lift the title. He beat Antuofermo as he's beating Duran right now, but around this time in the fight is when it shifted and Vito started putting pressure on. Let's see if history repeats itself. Duran has certainly not come close to going down in this fight.
Hagler said he learned a great lesson from that controversial draw. He knew he ran out of gas down the final 5 rounds. He said he learned how to train for 15 rounds. He vowed it would never happen again.
And so far, no indication that Hagler is slowing the tempo. Good counter hook by Duran. It has no impact on Hagler.
Hagler threw a lead left hand, and Duran came with that countering hook. Less than a minute to go in the round.
Hagler continues also to work the body very effectively.
Hammering right hand by Duran on the head of Hagler. Duran with that sinister look. Both fighters looking at each other over. Duran with a right hand to the head of Hagler. Final seconds, round 9.
This fight has ebbed and flowed on a number of different occasions. Right now, again, it's a chess match as they look for an opening. Good jab, double jab by Hagler, and he's gotten that punch on track since the second round.
Early in the round, the Hagler with an eruption, a 3-punch combination, then later some body work. That was the major noise in an otherwise unspectacular 9th round.
Don't think about it.
There's the bell for round 10.
And again, Hagler starts in the right-handed stance. He has switched up often in this fight. I think it has confused Duran, and as a righty, I still maintain Hagler has done his best work. Look at on the inside. This is where Duran was supposed to win, but instead it's Hagler. And there was an elbow from Hagler to show you that he is not above questionable tactics.
The 4th admonishment to Duran by the referee for a low blow.
And for all the hassles over the referee, Stanley Christodoulou has played a minor role in this fight.
They're on the inside here in round 10. Imagine walking down that lonely, dark street, fighting on the inside against either of these men.
Both men are masters on the inside, and at this point anyway, it looks like the idea that Hagler is a true middleweight and Duran has come up too many weight divisions would appear to be the case on the inside. Hagler appears strong there.
They just banged heads. Hagler pressing the attack here.
Right now, Sal, he is simply bullying Duran, and the body work very effective. Alexis Arguello and Leonard apparently were right. Duran could not fight on the inside.
We're halfway through the 10th. Duran has slowed down somewhat. Chopping right hand by Duran, another one, and Hagler drills him with a right as Duran moved Hagler away from the ropes. Another low blow by Roberto Duran. As I count him, that's number 5.
Still no points being taken away, however, by Christodoulou.
We're in the final 60 seconds of the 10th round.
It has actually been a relatively clean fight, considering what many boxing observers were expecting. I think Duran is slowing down discernibly here in round 10.
And A right hand by Duran. Just when he was backing up, Hagler walked right into it. Less than 30 seconds to go in the 10th. Right hand high in the head of Hagler. Duran with another right hand. For all of the attack by Hagler, Duran is very much in this fight.
Well, he's still upright anyway, and that gives him a chance.
A hard left hand by Hagler. Duran came back with his own right. And it appears right now that Duran cannot hurt Hagler. Hagler with a big left hand at the bell, and Duran gives him a mean look to keep the swelling within reason. And I guess there must be concern about Hagler's left cheekbone. They began doing that in the second round.
And as we looked, we saw Hagler there toward the end of the round landing a couple of good combinations. For Roberto Duran, as this fight heads into its final stages, you wonder if the extra weight will have any impact on him in terms of fatigue.
This is the farthest that Hagler has been pushed in his 4-year reign of terror as the undisputed middleweight champion of the world.
He has gone 12 rounds. He did that against Mike Colbert some years ago before he was champion. But as a champion, you're right. This is as far as it's gone, so he's headed soon into no man's land.
Mustafa Hamsho lost every round, but he did go 11 before he was stopped by Hagler. Hamsho was so beaten up he required 55 stitches on his face.
Hagler now dances, wants Duran to come to him, an interesting tactic, and the fans don't like it. But why not? Hagler may feel he's ahead, and this is a 20-foot ring, and I believe that he wants Duran to lunge in so he can catch him with a counter shot.
There was lots of talk about the gloves. They're 10-ounce gloves. They're the Reyes gloves from Mexico. They have the seam down the side. There was lots of yakety-yak about perhaps that's the kind of glove that opens up cuts, but neither man has been marked. Neither man has been down.
Some people may question the strategy. They might say, isn't it better for Hagler to put the pressure on Duran? Get him tired, working these last few rounds. But Hagler obviously has it in his mind to box in this 11th round.
Halfway through the 11th, Roberto Duran almost stationary in the center of the ring, following Hagler around. Hagler's best rounds were the 6th and 7th.
Hagler's preoccupation with the judging would dictate that he might not fight this way in the later rounds, but he is doing it, risking what he feels might be bias on the part of the judges against him. Not many punches from Marvin Hagler in this round, or Duran for that matter.
Less than a minute to go in a quiet 11th round.
Is Hagler getting tired? Is he dancing because he doesn't quite have it in him for an all-out attack? Well, we don't know, but we may get the answer in the next few rounds.
Referee once again lets them battle their way out of the clinch with less than 30 seconds to go in the 11th.
And here's where a rally by either fighter might steal this round.
Hey, step back. Hey, step back. Okay, step back.
Certainly the quietest round of the fight.
After going toe-to-toe in the middle round, Sal Marciano with Al Bernstein. We're poised and ready for round 12.
Hagler comes out right-handed and he comes out banging. They told him too much movement in the last round, and he takes care of it by going right to Duran.
As champion, Hagler hasn't been this far before. He has rejected all 7 of his challengers in less than 11 rounds.
And the last time Duran went this far was against Benitez about 2 years ago, and he did not look good in the final rounds against Wilfred. He was tired and catching a lot of counter punches.
Right hand by Duran on Hagler's head. But you know, Al, in my mind's eye, as I go back over the previous 11 rounds, Hagler has been difficult for Duran to hit. He's been blocking a lot of punches.
he has shown good defense in this fight. Better, I think, than Duran expected. Duran breathing very heavily, and I think Marvin now trying to go to the body to exploit that. Hagler took a breather in the last round, but not in round 12.
Hagler is back on the inside, takes a right hand from Duran, does some work with the uppercuts, and this is a whole different kind of style as contrasted against the previous round, the 11th. Left hook by Duran to the head of Hagler.
Now Duran is punching more on the inside, working the body a little bit. It may be too late, but he has certainly picked up the pace on the inside, what we expected early from him.
Duran with a right uppercut. There's swelling underneath the eye, the left eye of Hagler. They go toe-to-toe here in the 12th. Duran mocking Hagler. Dropped his hands to his side. Hagler's protecting his left eye.
And Marvin looks a little bit tired. This is starting to have some of the earmarks of the first Anna Fermo fight. Marvin tiring a little bit and perhaps letting Duran back in this fight. And of course that swelling under the left eye a factor now.
Duran with the lead right, he followed up with another right hand. And Hagler's got a problem with swelling underneath his left eye. This is reminiscent at this point of the Davey Moore fight, when Moore went inside on Duran and Duran connected with right hands. This is Duran's best round. Hagler with the left hand, an uppercut, points to his chin, as if to say, come on, hit me. Hagler with the left hand, Roberto with the right. And this is what it's all about. Two champions going toe-to-toe.
I think for Hagler to stop that right hand, all he needs to do is turn around to the conventional stance. Duran has not been able to land a right when Hagler is a righty. I'm shocked to see him continue with the left-hand stance.
We're into the 13th, and Duran's name is being chanted from here to Panama City. Hagler still has vision. It's a swelling underneath his left eye. Duran looking to unload the right hand. Hagler punishes him with a couple of hard jabs.
And that doubling up with the jab is exactly what Goody Petronelli told him to do. They don't want him looking for one knockout punch.
Hagler with a crunching left hand to the head of Duran.
Roberto Duran has shown us he can take the punch of a full-fledged middleweight because there are not many more full-fledged than Hagler, and he's hit him with some good shots in this fight.
Whether Duran is behind in this fight, or ultimately if he's the loser, he continues to be a formidable fighter. As a lightweight, 7 years the champion. As a welterweight champion. As the junior middleweight champion. And here in his first middleweight fight, he has really rumbled with the best there's been since Carlos Monzon. Right hand by Duran. Hagler was moved by that shot.
You know, Roberto Duran is huffing and puffing. I really think he's fatigued, but Sal, he is fighting this fight now on intestinal fortitude. And of course, the long training that he put in for this fight.
We're halfway through the 13th round. A left hand by Hagler, a right by Duran. Yes, this is Hagler's toughest opponent, his toughest challenge in his 4-year reign as middleweight champion. And Duran has fooled the experts again.
In this round, Hagler, I think, has rediscovered the right jab. It's been very effective. Duran not slipping it as well as he did in some previous rounds.
We're in the final minute of round 13. Right hand by Duran. Hagler came with a right hook.
And that was pretty much a standoff. Both punches landed cleanly, and both did some damage. And both fighters have ignored the body. They are headhunting now.
Duran with 2 right hands. Suddenly, Hagler is on the take from that shot. Duran paws at him in disdain. Duran with a chopping right hand. Something's happened here in the last 2 rounds. Duran has shown that he is powerful and has been able to take the best from Marvin Hagler. And now it's showtime for Hands of Stone as he rattles Hagler with a right hand. The sneer is back, and at the bell, Duran, and he is sharpshooting for that left eye of Marvin Hagler, as swelling underneath on the cheekbone. We're into the 14th. Hagler comes out winging.
And he came out right-handed and was effective. Again, I'm puzzled by the fact that he won't fight right-handed more often. Look at him go to the body of Duran. Good uppercuts by Hagler.
In the first 20 seconds of this round, Hagler has been a tremendous force here. Duran backing up, looking to get some punching room. Right hand by Hagler. Duran looking at awesome force here in the 14th round, but he still sneers at Hagler. The fight of the year? Yes, I think so.
It certainly has been everything it was billed to be. And I said the onus was on Duran at the beginning to make this fight. He has shown us. He has come back from an early deficit and fought well toward the end of this fight. But I think Hagler's having a very good round 14 here. But will Duran come on in the second half of the round as he did in 13?
Hagler with a right hand that caught Duran. Duran still sneering. He's joking with Hagler, and we're deep into this fight. We're in the 14th. And we're halfway through the round.
And this is what Marvin Hagler did not want. A relatively close fight going into the final rounds. He was very, very concerned about this. Now Duran is giving some lateral movement to Hagler, and he's taunting him.
Duran stuck his mouthpiece out at Hagler, taunting him, trying to intimidate him.
He may be sticking his mouthpiece out, but Hagler, I think, has done most of the scoring here in round 14.
We're in the final minute of the next to last round.
Hagler digging to the body again. Again, he works well inside.
Less than 30 seconds to go in the 14th, a round in which Hagler's done a lot of punching. He's come back strongly. I see blood. I think that the Hagler's got a cut. Yes, it's around his left eye. Hagler is cut.
But here in round 14, despite the sneering, it's been Hagler on the inside dominating the action, as you see him doing right there.
Hagler with a strong right hook to the head. Hagler knows he's cut. He's had an exceptional round, but they're going to have to work on that eye during the 1-minute break before the final round.
In my opinion, he may need a knockout to win, but it's up to the judges.
Duran points towards his chest. He says, come to me, I want you. And I'm sure the Marvelous One will accommodate him.
And the strange thing about this fight is, on the outside, Duran has done relatively well. On the inside, I think it's been Hagler who has been dominant. Some people thought it was the other way around. Look at Hagler ripping shots from the inside. He's so effective. They're working the body and the head.
Hagler goes right to it here in the final round. He's staying close to Duran.
And I think that's the best place for him to be. Take away the power of Duran and work him on the inside.
Big left hand by Hagler on the chin of Duran, but Duran is okay. So okay, he sneered again at Hagler. Hagler appears he doesn't want to take any chances. He continues to punch a lot.
And this fight has shown us Hagler, the hard worker in boxing, and Duran, he's the showman. So far, the hard worker in this round is getting the job done.
The big news is that Duran was able to score heavily with the right hand tonight against Hagler. So much so that he caused a swelling on the left cheekbone.
Many people did not think he could get those right hands home. He's gotten enough home, as you said, to cause the swelling, but is it enough to win? Here on the inside, Hagler still working very, very effectively.
We just passed the halfway mark of the final round.
Hagler is throwing 5 and 6 punches to every one in this round for Duran.
And that cut has not reopened on the left eyebrow of Hagler. Duran now sensing that we only have a few ticks left on the clock, trying to get close enough, trying to get some punching room, but it's all Hagler down the stretch. Hagler with a big right hook and a left cross. Hagler takes a right hand from Duran. Hagler not taking any chances here, and he wallops Duran with the left hand. Duran with his back to the rope takes a right hook. Hagler finishing with a drum roll here.
If he feels there's a doubt about this decision, he certainly must be cementing it here in this 15th round. Ripping body and head shots to the head of Roberto Duran.
20-odd seconds to go in the fight. Left hand by Hagler, and Roberto Duran drilled Hagler with his own right. 15 seconds to go. Two warriors, two champions, going the full 15 rounds. Hands of Stone turned out to be a formidable opponent, and he rocks Hagler with the right hand, Hagler with the left, as we head for the belt.
Ladies and gentlemen, here is the decision of the judges. Judge Guy Jotra's scores 144-142. Judge Yasaka Yoshida scores 146-145. Judge Obi Oberson scores 144-143 for the winner by unanimous decision, and still the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
Congratulations to Marvin Hagler, who wins by unanimous decision, but it was close by point margins of 2-1 and 1. You have a problem with your left eye. Tell me how that developed.
Well, that's probably from my old stitch. I slipped and fell in the bathroom at my home.
When was this?
That was before, about two fights before. That's just an old cut there. I felt very good. I just couldn't get off with the speed the way I wanted. I would have knocked this guy out, but I needed to work. I was in good shape, so I figured as long as I keep the jab, I couldn't get it going the way I really wanted to, because he's a little quicker, but next time I fight Duran, I'll knock him out. He's made for me, you know, but then afterwards, you don't have to knock him out. My trainer said, just beat him. You beating him, just beat him. The last 2 rounds, I came back decisively.
The question does linger, though. Why didn't you knock him out?
Well, you know, like I said, even though the man is 3-time world champion, you got to give me a little credit there, too.
Nobody's ever knocked him out.
Nobody's ever knocked Duran out, so you really don't go for it. But next time, I had him going there, I think, in the last round. But a little bit more. I know what I have to do next time.
In terms of strength, how did you feel against him?
Oh, I felt very strong. Real loose. He wasn't getting. He just beat me to the punch a couple of times, but he wouldn't come at me the way how we planned. So I had to change up. That's what a mark of a good fighter, that you can still change up in the inside. A lot of fighters can't, and they're thrown off stride.
You were very effective as a righty against him.
Yeah, I was very effective. So that's why I went that way. He kept ducking under the right jab, so he'd duck into my left hook, my right hand, and left uppercut half hook. So that's what was effective for him, so I kept using it.
He caught you a lot with right hands. Did he ever rock you?
No, it never was hurting the fight. The last round, I think the puff in the eye just started to, puff up. I wanted to get to him before it closed or anything, but, he couldn't knock me out or anything. I told him he was going to hit me with that ring pole. Really, I just want to thank everybody who has helped me to make it all the way to this day. The Peter Phillips, the Rip Valentes, even the Spectrum guys, Russell Peltz, and I'd like to thank my mother and my kids and my wife for all the support. And these 2 guys, a happy birthday present for Goody and Pat Petronelli.
I know there was concern in your corner about that nick on your left eye, about the swelling. You came out on the 15, and you were awesome, as if to say, I'm not going to take any chances. You must have outpunched him 4-5 to 1.
I had to come out like that to make it successful. I don't like being here, I don't want to leave it into the judges' hands, and So even though I had to put everything together, I just had to keep them tied and keep pumping them.
Okay, Marvin, there's lots of fans out there look at these point totals and they see that you won by 2 points, by 1 point, and by 1 point.
Yeah,
Will you give Duran another shot?
Sure. Well, you know, if the money's right and everything, sure. You know, he drew the big attraction. Next time I put him out, though. He won't go 15.
Congratulations on your 8th defense. You are a standard of excellence at 160 pounds.
Don't nobody say I can't go 15 anymore, all right?
All right.
Great shades. Oh, yeah.
Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Congratulations to the Petronellis as well.